Ryan has been 100% healthy. She was born at 37 weeks to the day. She's been outgoing, adventurous, brave.
Ryan's very hardworking. She's very dedicated to everything that she decides that she's going to go after, whether it's horses or school. She's always given everything to be the best at it that she can be. So I was sitting in the pavilion watching the round that she was riding, Hector.
I watched her jump the first few jumps and she missed the one that it seemed odd. So I just kind of kept an eye on it. And then once I saw that she got to the corner, I cantered my horse over to the corner.
After the third jump, the horse kind of ran out. Even in that moment, it was a weird looking fall, but falling off is part of the sport.
I kept calling her name just because I thought she would respond. She was gasping. That's the best way I can describe it.
They quickly identified that she didn't have a pulse. She wasn't breathing. And as soon as they started CPR, it very quickly shifted the way we felt in that moment.
I remember looking at Will and thinking, how could this happen? Like, what happened?
There was an AED that was on the golf cart next to the ring. I think what's probably most amazing is that a non-medical professional recognized that this was a time when an AED was needed. By the time they finished 3 rounds of CPR, she was already hooked up to an AED. So what felt like an eternity to us was probably less than 3.5 minutes from the time that she hit the ground to the time that she received her first shock from the AED.
The first information that we gathered was the recording from the AED at the time of her arrest. The AED showed that she was in a rhythm called ventricular fibrillation, at which point she was shocked and restored to her normal heart rhythm. Catecholaminergic polymorphic ventricular tachycardia, or CPVT, is a condition that affects calcium channels in the heart and makes them more overly sensitive to molecules like adrenaline. And so these patients normally have very normal heart rhythms when at rest, but if they are exposed to a high-stress situation like competitive exercise or a strong emotional event, that's when they start to have arrhythmias that can deteriorate into cardiac arrest. It can be a real challenge to diagnose CPVT. Often the very first symptom is a cardiac arrest.
And it can happen to the people that you don't think that it's going to happen to. Ryan was a healthy, just turned 14-year-old girl that had had 0 problems in her life leading up to that.
I was terrified. I had no idea what happened because one second I was on a horse and it literally felt like just blinking your eyes and I was like in a completely different spot on the ground. And it felt weird that it was on my birthday. Like, why did it happen?
CPVT is a genetic condition. Ryan has had this condition for her whole life. After we knew the diagnosis of CPVT, the first step was to initiate her on a combination of antiarrhythmic medications. We also gave her ICD. An ICD is an electronic implantable device that's in her body and will continuously watch her heart rhythm. If it detects that she has another life-threatening arrhythmia, it has the opportunity to shock her and bring her out of the rhythm.
As much as I did not want her to go through a surgery, it did give us some relief that she had just a second line of defense.
I was scared I wasn't going to be able to ride again. That was my worst fear after finding that out. Before, they wouldn't let people do anything when they found out they had heart conditions, but now they do.
As soon as we finished that last checkup, we drove straight to the farm in Ocala, and she got on Hector and took him for a ride around the ring, and that was the moment where it felt like we had moved past that point and on to whatever was next.
The American Heart Association is a trusted voice in taking care of these patients. We turn to them for high-quality research that helps develop clinical guidelines and ultimately improve the care of these patients. And now to go forward 1 year later and see Ryan back doing the things that she loves, competing in high-level horse shows, that's what it's all about, and that's why we love to come to work every day.
My first class back on Hector here, we won. That was really special. I'm forever grateful that people were there that knew how to do CPR and that there was an AED on site that's not only saved my life, but allowed me to do what I love most, which is riding horses, and allowed me to get back on Hector. Now I want to be a pediatric cardiologist after this and help kids going through it because I know how hard it was for me.
The American Heart Association gives families like ours hope, knowing that there's an organization that's working so hard to give the community the tools and the training they need to help save lives.